Joining me now from Tucson, Arizona, Vice President of the National Border Patrol Council, Art Del Cueto. Art, you look at this legislation. I don't know how well you've been able to read it. I know you're busy down there doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that's stopping people from violating our sovereignty. You've probably been able to look at a little bit of it. In there, it talks about pedestrian fencing. Pedestrian fencing. They just refuse to use the term wall in this legislation, which just shows it's been completely hyper-politicized. But the legislation appears to me, when I read it, cares a heck of a lot more about feelings than it does about necessarily securing the southern border. What's your evaluation, your early evaluation of what has been produced from the Congress?
Well, I can tell you we don't like it. And the people I represent and I've spoken to, they don't like it. What this has done, signing this bill, what it has done is it's given more power to the criminals than it has to the Border Patrol and to law enforcement. We have literally taken 2 steps back. We would have been better off with a CR, to be honest.
Well, okay, hey, Art, give me an example. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but can you give me an example of what you mean that it's actually given more strength to the criminals and the illegals?
Absolutely. Some of the clauses in these is if you cross the border and you are in with an unaccompanied juvenile or with a juvenile, I guess you wouldn't be unaccompanied because you're claiming him. Anyone that claims that they can be a sponsor to this juvenile is pretty much hands off and they're left alone and you can't send them back. Another thing that they have is they're reducing the amount of bed space in ICE.
Right.
So what's going to happen there is with a reduction of bed space, now you're going to have more catch and release.
Right.
So we're having more people caught and released. We're having more reasons for individuals to claim that they can be a sponsor to this unaccompanied child, and now you can't touch them either. And then if you look at the area where the walls are being built, they have to go through a bunch of hoops and rings of fire, and you got to ask everyone in the area whether it's okay to build a wall there.
Yeah.
So what this bill has done is it has handcuffed the agents, and it's given more power to the criminal element.
Yeah,
and you've created a magnet
and
for more illegals to come to the country.
And it's given these local municipalities veto power, essentially, to try and, if the president wants to go down there and try and secure the border with a wall, these local municipalities, if they happen to be run by radicals who don't want to secure America, they have essential veto power. And we also don't want to disturb the habitat of the butterfly museum somewhere down there along Texas. Arizona, you're in Arizona. You have 2 border patrol or 2 border sectors in Arizona. Kind of slices Arizona almost down the middle. You got the Yuma sector and you got the Tucson sector. In the Yuma sector, not too long ago, several years ago, walls were built there. Walls, fencing, whatever the heck you want to call it. Pretty good stuff. But I hate to reduce this, Art, to kindergarten level. But essentially, when y'all got that wall put up there, it curtailed a lot of the activity in the Yuma sector. That said, that the bad guys are just going around the wall where there's no walling, right?
No, that's 100% correct. And that's why it was important, and I keep stressing on this bill and what it says in there, is even you have the wall there and you have the barrier, these individuals that cross into the United States, as soon as they step on U.S. soil, now them claiming asylum, we're back to the same steps.
Right.
Even worse now, because now anyone can be considered a sponsor of an unaccompanied child, and they're untouchable. And then with less bed space, they're released. It's going to be mass catch and release. And we would have been better off with a CR.
Meantime, there has been a recent don't believe the mainstream media when they're out there saying, oh, there's actually a decline of apprehensions at the border. They're citing old statistics. They're citing 2016, 2017 when there was a drop-off. But if you look at the end of 2018 and the early 2019 numbers, they're wrong. There has been a surge of family units at the border. But, Art, many of these are not families. I want to quote from the Washington Times. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen reported on what she called a child recycling ring that used illegal immigrant children to pave a path for other illegal immigrants. Also in that article, a woman who is being paid $1,500 per child to collect them from the U.S. and take them back to Guatemala to be used in future immigration efforts. This is unbelievable. We know this is going on.
That's why that bill being signed is disastrous right now, and I'm saying it's 2 steps back.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.